Hello YouTube and TIs. Just had a thought, and this is something that's crossed my mind a couple times before, and I thought I'd just make a little quick video about it. This gang stalking that we're experiencing, it's like a bunch of people getting together against us and doing all kinds of horrible, evil stuff. And you wonder, like, what are these people thinking? I mean, how can they do all this stuff and just keep on doing it? The way that I think about it is when people get together, they reinforce each other and do all kinds of crazy things. And as long as you have a couple of people telling you that this is okay, they will believe it. For example, the housing bubble. The housing bubble was just going crazy and crazy, and everybody was saying these prices are just crazy. And some people were saying, well, the prices is just gonna go up endlessly. It's just gonna go up without end. And people believed it, and they just bought, and it's like buying a lima bean for $10,000. I mean, that's, if you get together and a bunch of people tell each other lies, people start believing it. The ones that are mindless and can't think for themselves, they're like, yeah, let's go pay $10,000 for a lima bean. And then if you tell them that the wall is blue when it's really green, and everybody's telling you the wall is blue but it's green, people, when you put them together in groups, they reinforce each other. And to me, that's the bubble mentality. And it's the same mentality, or very similar, that's going on in this gang stalking. And as with the housing bubble, the lie cannot sustain itself perpetually or forever, that eventually burst. And when it burst, people were like, what happened? Why did this happen? How could this happen? And then they're in a lot of pain. And if any of you went through this, I'm sorry that it happened to you, and I'm not trying to capitalize on your pain. But this gang stalking with the housing bubble and with any of lies that cannot sustain, it's going to burst eventually. I mean, they've been doing this gang stalking for a long time. I would say at least since John Lennon and before. So they've been doing it for a long time. They've had this network, and the technology is entrenched, and they think they can get away with it. But as with all lies, it'll come to an end one day, and they're gonna be in a lot of pain. They're gonna be shaking their heads and saying, what happened? How did it get to this? It might not be tomorrow. It might not be in my lifetime. Or it might be in our lifetime. It might be tomorrow. Or it might be in the next life when our Lord returns. But this is eventually going to burst, just like the housing bubble. And then we're going to be glad that we're on the outside of it. But those that are in it, they're just looking at each other saying, this is right, we're right. They're just reinforcing themselves. They're just lying to themselves over and over. And they're just like saying the housing market is just going to keep on going up forever. I believe if you told a gang stalker that, yes, the earth is again at the center of the universe, that the sun rotates around us, the rest of the galaxy rotates around us, and the rest of the universe all rotate around us, and everything goes in epicycles, they'd be like, really? And despite everything that's been discovered and all the science, they're like, really? We're back at the center of the universe again? Okay. And then if you told them the earth was flat, they're like, really? The earth is flat? And they would believe it. If enough people tell the gang stalkers that the earth was flat and we're at the center of the universe, they would believe it. And enough people tell each other the same lies, they would believe it. And this is how the bubble mentality and the gang stalking works. But like I said, as with all lies, it can't sustain itself. And another side analogy that I guess I'll try to end on is the story of Don Quixote. I've read it a little, and I've read a little about it. And you wonder how this thing is such a classic that have endured for hundreds of years. And is it just his writing style, or is it something more that goes into this human nature? And that's why it has rung with people throughout all these centuries. And you may have read it or not, but at the core of this story, I think, is a man who does not have a good grasp on reality. And you might say, well, that's what the gang stalkers are trying to tell us. But this whole notion of people not having a firm grasp on reality, it's human nature, and it's stuck with all of us throughout the centuries. And clearly, as things have turned out, you can see that those people that were caught in the housing bubble, they did not have a firm grasp on reality, just like Don Quixote did. And these people who are gang stalking, and they're lying to each other and lying about us, they're just like Don Quixote. They're living in some kind of fantasy land. And so I haven't reached the end of the book yet, but as with all lies, it's gonna burst. Well, I just wanted to thank you all for being there, and it's gonna be 2012 in a couple of hours, and I wish you all the best. Take care and God bless.